was 1994. Was it your idea to launch the Austin Film Festival?
It's hard probably for people to imagine now, that especially people who've probably come here in the last 10 years. But this really was a small town not all that long ago, right? And in 93, I was working with musicians. You know, you couldn't go anywhere in this town without meeting a musician. It was kind of impossible because it was still a small town. And I started working with a few, and we put a tour on the road called Austin on the Road. It was singer-songwriters. And I had never done anything like that. I was financing people's radio and TV stations, you know, and it's financing equipment. I wasn't in the creative world. And it was just a kind of moment in time. And we put these Austin musicians on the road, and we sold out most of the shows, and it was really wonderful, successful. It was Michael Fracasso and Jimmy LaFave and Joe Carroll Pierce and David Halley. And it was so much fun. It was a lot more fun than financing equipment. So
your background is business.
Yeah, so my background really was business, and my dad was an entrepreneur, and you know, and he probably was constantly feeding the back of my brain about doing things. Mm-hmm. So that was definitely a seed, but that piece was a lot of fun. And then somebody that I did some radio work with said, "Hey, you really love film, so why don't you do something with film? Because there's not a film festival in Austin." And I started thinking about that, and I thought, well, okay, I don't know anything about that, so that must be a good idea. Right? There's this wonderful man, and he just recently passed away. His name was Sandy Sanford, and he used to have these fantastic dinner parties at his house, and for some reason he would invite me. And he was again, small town, he was a lobbyist, he knew everybody, and I was there. Some other folks I knew, and new head of the film commission, who Ann Richards was governor, and she loved film. And her new film commissioner was there, who she had brought in from California.
Shout out to Ann Richards.
Yes, shout out to Ann Richards for sure. And another, for sure, like original Texas boss lady, right?
Yeah.
So we were sitting around chatting, and I had a second glass of wine. Big mistake. And I just said to the film commissioner, "How come there's no film festival in Austin?" And it was just conversation. And she said, well, you know, Anne would really love to help somebody get one started. And I said, oh, well, I mean, I'm really interested. And she said, well, send us over a business plan. So that's kind of what I did for a living.
Right, business plans?
Right. You know, I was trying to get people financing. So I did, and sent it to her, and got a call a couple weeks later. And she said, hey, Anne said that if this is for real, she'd be interested in helping. And so then I called a friend, Marsha Milam, and said, hey, she had a lot of experience doing promotions. And I thought, well, okay, she loves film too. So, and she had a lot of experience in music. And so we just kicked it off. And again, Austin was a small town. So there were a lot of things you could do. You know, you could talk to all kinds of people, and you could get in to see them. And we did get help from Anne's office, and the film commission for sure was really helpful. You know, and then somebody else, a man named Fred Miller, said one day, you know, nobody's doing anything for screenwriters. And we started looking into that. And in fact, I knew a couple of screenwriters because it was Austin, and there were a number of them living here. It was kind of a kismet moment, right? They were accessible. You know, I mean, people in Texas were accessible. It was hard in LA, right? Getting a hold of people because we were nobody. But in Texas, they were like, oh, cool, sure. You know, they took their phone calls.
Yeah. Where are you from?
I was born and raised in Philadelphia. But I've lived in a lot of places. My dad he had a lot of different businesses, and we moved around, and I came here to go to college. So
at UT.
At UT, yeah.
What a time in Austin. Where are we at now?
If we'd tried to start this 10 years ago, it'd probably be impossible, because the ability for us to run a business by the seat of our pants in the 90s was pretty great. And this wasn't the most philanthropic town. It was really difficult finding money, but we were lucky, right? And we found this niche that was the writer, and it just also turned out to be, sometimes when you find something and it's the thing for you, and I love writers. I mean, I love writers. And so that was, that was a kismet moment. And now we're certainly in a great place. I mean, we've done so many things. We got a lot of goodwill from those writers because Hollywood did not appreciate the writer in 1994 or 95 or 96, and maybe not even fully today. We really built an infrastructure to try to help people move forward and to get a foot in the door. That's really kind of the heart of what our mission is.
Barbara, again, thank you. I can't wait to see you in Abiquiu. And anything else upcoming?
So we have a TV show on PBS nationally called On Story, and it's on KUT as well, and it's a podcast series, and people can find it at onstory.tv. But we have a really great lineup this year. So
very cool.
Yep.
So onstory.tv. Mm-hmm. Check out Barbara Morgan. She's the boss. We want to thank our incredible team here at Leftway Studios. Lisa McNally, Tori Amaya, Tim Curry, Benji Snyder, Jason Jenkins. I've been Kate the Great. Thanks for joining us. This has been Boss Ladies on the Record. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, or online. BossLadiesontheRecord.com. See you next time.